Welcome back, everyone. Today, Alex and I are diving into why it's crucial for interviewers to recognize their own career gaps and how their company has helped them overcome those. Let's get into it. Alex, you mentioned the significance of interviewers understanding their own career gaps. Why do you think this is so important?
I think it all stems from the first 5 minutes of every interview. When I first got into recruiting, I noticed over and over my clients were opening up interviews by briefly introducing themselves. That is, giving their name and their title. And then after a little bit of small talk, they would ask the candidate to go ahead and tell me about themselves or tell us about yourselves. And what I found was that almost every time candidates got off to a clunky start because they may have prepared, but they weren't quite sure exactly how to introduce themselves, what was going to be relevant. And so we thought there's got to be a better way to do this. I came across the principle of reciprocity. Are you familiar, Tyler, with the principle of reciprocity?
Yeah, I am. It's the idea that if you give something to someone, they're more likely to give something back, right? So, how did you apply that to interviews?
Our clients need to understand where the candidate is, where they're trying to go, so that they can prepare to answer the question, how will our opportunity bridge that gap for the candidate? So that's the goal in that first 5 minutes, to set up the candidate to tell us their career gap. And the way that we do that, the best way to do that is to tell a career gap story of your own. And I think that the best version of that is for the interviewer to start with either what their career gap was when they decided to join the company, or what their most recent career gap was in terms of maybe a change in responsibilities or maybe a change in roles inside of the company. Can you think about like how that would relate to the principle of reciprocity, Tyler?
Absolutely, Alex. By sharing their own career gap story, interviewers aren't just giving candidates a glimpse into their own journey, but they're also creating a sense of trust and openness. It sets the tone for the candidate to feel comfortable sharing their own story. When the interviewer is vulnerable about their own gaps and how the company helped bridge those, it invites the candidate to do the same, creating a more genuine and insightful conversation. It's like saying, I've been where you are, and here's how this opportunity helped me. It's a powerful way to connect and understand each other on a deeper level. So, Alex, from your experience, how has this approach changed the dynamics of interviews?
What we've seen is that clients that are effectively able to communicate their own career gaps, they get to a place where almost every single candidate that interviews with them wants to work with that interviewer. I think that this is a massive lever for employers, for hiring managers, for interviewers that they can exploit in order to not lose the candidates that they really want to hire. That's an episode in itself, but I think that by starting with their own career gap stories, they immediately build a bridge to a relationship with every candidate that they work with.
Now, that's a great insight, Alex. It really emphasizes the human element in recruiting, making the process more relatable and engaging for candidates. By sharing their own career gap stories, interviewers can not only build a stronger connection, but also position their company as a supportive environment where growth and development are prioritized. This approach can be a game changer in attracting and retaining top talent. So, just to wrap up, the takeaway here is that interviewers should use their own career gap stories to create a sense of reciprocity, build trust, and make candidates feel more comfortable and understood. It's a simple yet powerful strategy to enhance the interview experience and ultimately the hiring process. Thanks for sharing that, Alex. I think our listeners will find this incredibly useful. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think we're good. Thanks, Tyler.
All right, folks, that wraps up today's episode. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you, Alex, for sharing your insights. Remember, understanding and sharing your own career gaps can make a big difference in your interviews. Until next time, keep those conversations genuine and impactful. See you soon.